Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and everything and amazing Propagandacast with me, host and Pearl Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero, psych defender of the fatherland, off here to a 1v1 on Crossroads. Yeah, getting a lot of matches on Crossroads. A bit unfortunate. The north there is Elpern fighting for the Red Army, the Soviet Union, coming out Stalin. Here, rolling out with the 12th Guard Tank Corps here with Guard Motor, Urban Defense, and, surprise, Soviet Industry. In the south, it is Sara, Lynn, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Here with the 7th Panzer Division, the Ghost Division with Blitzkrieg, Festung Armour, and Strategic Reserve. Now, there's some interesting commander choices there. A Grenadier double Pioneer stuff from Sara, Lynn versus W's Contra there from Elpern. That is very interesting opening event from the Wehrmacht. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters. Without them and their internal support, the Propagandacast would not be possible. So big thanks to all those. Other people can join the ranks of our Patreon, support the worth it, or they can donate via PayPal. Links in the video description. And you're going to another way you can support is if you're going to pre-order companies for at some point. You can use the link in the comments. Pre-order for that. Use the code STUG3G in the Relic store there, and I get a cut of the sale there. And finally, just comment, like, share, subscribe. Talk about the video. So, Grenadiers and Pioneers start here. No MG42s, but the double Pioneers is definitely a rarity in the Wehrmacht openings. Meanwhile, double conscript WS for Elpern, and we get Soviet Industry. Wow! With the KV-8, the repair station, CIS-6 supply truck, Recon flight, and the KV-2. You don't see the KV-2 a lot. Mostly because there weren't a lot of them built, but obviously in game that's less of a factor. Sandbags up there by the western field point, but why here's what to make it harder for Sir Lynn to move up there and make things a mess. But why similarly here from Elpern. Eastern side with the Grenadiers. Third conscript there for Elpern. Southeastern point here for the Pioneers, but it's going between the Pioneers and the Engineers. Grenadiers moving forward as well here for Sara Lynn. Third Grenadiers squad there. Stay pressure already. Elpern finding Engineers in the east embroiled into some pretty fierce fighting here and are forced to retreat them unless he wishes to throw Engineers in pretty senseless fighting here against Sara Lynn. On the west side, they open the pulling forward for the conscript squad there. Third Grenadier squad for Sara Lynn. Pushing eastwards there, sent big seas there by the German Grenadiers. Pioneers ground the point there very busily. In the south here, Pioneers busy there as well. So far, rough 50-50 split between Sara Lynn and Elpern here in the early game. Sandbags in the west. Elpern, they're not missing a beat there with the sandbags. Come on, comrades! Get working with the sandbags. Well, I'm not entirely sure this is actually sand. Or these are bags. I think they might actually be pillow casings. Well, those are kind of bags, I guess. Pioneers, they're acting as scouts. These tier Pioneers for the conscript as well. Gonna need more support there because the Pioneers on their own will not be able to face off against the conscript squad even up close. They can do a fair amount of damage, so it's not like theoretically impossible, but it's not looking great there for the Pioneers. In this case, it's actually helping that some of the squad members isn't firing, in which case the Pioneers actually kind of have the upper hand here. Looks like the Pioneers actually winning this because two of the squad members just sort of like, when do we get to shoot? But there you go. Yeah, Pioneers actually beat that one. I did not expect that to happen, but when you sort of look at the engagement, you can sort of understand why. But anyways, not great here for Elpern. Sara Lynn, they're striking hard for the German army, Reich. The Pioneers, they victoriously pull up the eastern side here against Elpern's right flank. Back here, we got tech down there. It's 3 Grenadiers, 2 Pioneers. It's a Wehrmacht version of the typical Soviet opening, which is 3 conscripts, 2 Engineers, but just with 3 Grenadiers, 2 Pioneers. That's an interesting approach there. That is an interesting approach and definitely not common there. Mines down here from Elpern in the centre. Very good there. Very nice spot to mine. Got western point there. Like to make a nice company for Sara Lynn. Plus a medic bunker. Pioneers will have to retreat now. I mean, at range, they definitely don't stand a chance against the conscripts, no matter what. Light machine sorted out for Sara Lynn's Grenadiers. Increasing their firepower significantly as the MG42 obviously provides a fairly hefty firepower boost that's in the German infantry squad. I'd like to make a nice company up. Guessing an armoured car, of course, Sara Lynn could surprise us with a half track here. We'll of course have to see. I'd love to be surprised with a half track, but going by what typically happens, I would, yeah. There we go. 2-2 for Sara Lynn. While they might be experimenting in some ways with German openings, they're not experimenting with a half track. Straight into the mine there. Friedrich and Rudolf there get blown to bits. Conscripts basically in the east going straight for the sandbags as well. Then fought by the eastern fuel point here, messing there with Sara Lynn's fuel economy. Though we can see Sara Lynn is looking to do the same here by heading for Elpern's cut-off point there. So a lot of action, and again, as you might notice, lots of focus there on the fuel and basic disruption of it. So thumbs up to both sides. Elpern with take of his own, the support weapon company up. Of course, obviously up there, Elpern makes use of his commander. It certainly has some interesting elements there. And certainly isn't a particularly common commander in the 1v1 metagame. 2 rushing 40 back to the Pioneers, straight for the centre of the Grenadiers joining as well. Their flanking units are ready for Elpern to evict the Germans for the power of Marxist fire. And there you go, Conscript out there, and they're being shot to bits as the Pioneers and the armoured car leeches everything they got here. Friedrich there, the drops dead up north. The Grenadiers pushed back by Conscript there, and a Molotov chopped in the general direction. Armoured car staying a respectful distance here. Probably because he's worried that Elpern may try and sprint at the armoured car, then chuck an anti-tank grenade, which gives him less reaction time. So in this regard, Sara Lynn very smartly keeps a bit of extra distance there between the armoured car and the conscripts to ensure that Elpern can't just, sprint at it with some anti-tank grenades. aka the good old jump scare snare. More Grenadiers here for Sara Lynn, pulling into 4 Grenadiers here. Armour coming out the centre, 3 kills there. Up here, reinforcing here, and we got Elpern there with the Tankovy Battalion Command. And we'll have to see where Elpern goes from here. Half-track, T-70, most likely, but, could be some surprises there from Elpern. 4th Grenadier Squad almost done there for Sara Lynn. Still no commander, so no real indicator as to what Sara Lynn here is scheming. Could be strategic reserves like Panther 4 model, yeah, it could be quite effective, but there's also Festung Armour, in fact. 2 commanders here with a Panther 4 model, yeah, it's an interesting decision there. Plus you got Blitzkrieg with, for example, the command tank, so Sara Lynn, does have ample opportunities for Elpern. The question, of course, is which option do they go for here in the fight against Stalinism? And they're going to take down the armoured car. Didn't need to pull any hoorahs on that one. Something being used for the Pioneers far east here. Slow probe here for Elpern against Sara Lynn's right flank. Again looking to threaten the fuel point, even as Sara Lynn, of course, is hurting Elpern's fuel income. Elpern is closing in that T-7 light tank, but with things as they are, it will be slightly further delayed here due to Sara Lynn's effective push on Elpern's fuel point. So Elpern looking to gain control of the centre here, might be looking to swing up behind Sara Lynn's front lines on the east on the west. And the east here, the conscripts are kind of winning out here due to a Molotov, but it's a very narrow kind of win. More light machine guns, and Sara Lynn here is once more going off, shall we say, the usual maps here by going for a 5 Grenadier build, which is fairly uncommon. Again, it's not as uncommon as it used to be, but still, when you consider like everything else Lynn's been doing, this is certainly very unorthodox. Like 5 Grenadiers, no MG42s, no immediate commands to really take advantage of it, double Pioneer start. Sara Lynn is very much not playing by these usual Wehrmacht rules, if you will, which is very interesting. Elpern with a Max machine gun and a T-70. Meanwhile, Sara Lynn is basically just emptying the infantry company of replacements and reserves. But yeah, 5 Grenadiers light machine guns, the massive 30th Elpern's infantry. T-70, of course, will help. As it is, of course, worth noting, Sara Lynn, though, in their current infantry-heavy strategy, which will certainly help in some ways for the map control, doesn't really have any significant anti-tank firepower. Like, they could try for another armoured car, Pack 40, but otherwise, they don't really have any significant tools to really take on this T-70 under Elpern's command. They very much lack anything to more swiftly put a large dent into it, and preferably large holes into it. Pack 40 on weather for Sara Lynn and the German army here, the 7th Panzer Division, the Ghost Division. Mines here down from Sara Lynn as well there, taking no chances. Teleman's, of course, a good addition against the Soviet light tanks or any light vehicle rushes in general there. Good, well-mined Telemine can really swing a game around in your favour very quickly. But there we go. Elpern, of course, is an experienced Communist 2 veteran, and of course knows to expect mines from the Germans. So thumbs up at Elpern. Looks like there's T-70. Had it worked, of course, that would have been huge there for Sara Lynn and could really put Elpern into a bad place. And I'm not talking, you know, the local NKVD headquarters basement. Push back here on the east side. Cheeseman towards the centre here. Gunny's being pushed back as well there. Back here, nothing further happening there for Sara Lynn. Could try and take up, push for some armour. Certainly a few options there, and certainly, like, you know, Festung Armour strategic research for Pentaformoldier being pushed out swiftly could be a real problem here for Elpern, in particular when backed up by 5 Grenadier squads. That could possibly, I think, lead to like a quickly snowballing situation if Sara Lynn were to go in that direction. T7 they're pushing forward here, making great successfully progress here on the right flank. That was, by the way, a completely nonsensical sentence there. I'm sorry for that one. Going to use the maximum there in the centre. West side, more probing about here. Elpern has got 2 squads that dug in the cemetery. That's going to be a bit difficult there for Sara Lynn to remove with just 1 Grenadier squad. Field gun for Elpern. Got this the armoured car. Got this is dug in German units. Second pack 40 for Sara Lynn. Sounds to look more than like Sara Lynn might be actually planning to go straight for tier 4 here. Rather than, say, you know, getting out a Panzer 4, Sara Lynn is scheming for tier 4. As always a bit, personally, not a huge fan of tier 4 moves, though some players can definitely make them work. But having said that, on a map like Crossroads, which on average has more resources compared to a normal map, if you can get good map control in there, which, you know, with 5 Grenadier squads, I'd definitely say have a shot at it, a tier 4 rush can become viable. But let's say it's still kind of risky, and I think Elpern here, yeah, he's going for a second T70. Either he's just sensing it, or he's just thinking, you know what, I'm already in an awkward spot, but again, on this map, if I, you know, get 2 T70s out, I could swing the map completely in my favour here by just getting map control, and because the map is larger, I can then use the extra resource on this map to just further propel me then into fast tanks anyway. So it's an interesting decision here from Elpern considering the timing, but you can sort of make sense of it. And certainly if Sara Lynn were to then, you know, just go straight for tier 4, then arguably there to be a punish there, then with 2 T70s just bleeding away at Sara Lynn's forces. So a lot of good stuff going on here at the higher levels here of play. Sara Lynn, though, definitely not playing your average farm up play there. And Elpern definitely all starting to, you know, go further and further beyond the usual Soviet metagame. There is double T70s Soviet industry build. East side of the comes in the east, armoured coming east as well. And we got a demo charge. Here's an extra surprise. He just needs to make sure he doesn't misclick. I mean, imagine he just accidentally somehow misclicked here. That'd be a real feels bad moment. Or feels bliat moment, I guess, in this case. West side here we got the pack 40 going up against the comes from the east side though. Elpern is looking to, I think, make a breakthrough against Sara Lynn's right flank with the double T70s, though seemingly kind of loses his courage, backs off. He doesn't commit to it fully then. Maybe for the best in the end. Back here, Sara Lynn has yet to take up no commander either, but again, 2 pack 40s like this definitely has me thinking tier 4 stall strategy here by Sara Lynn. We'll have to see. They could surprise us. Could have some big surprises in store for us. Max in there, low on health, low on numbers, but not low on courage. Well, actually, I guess they were kind of low on courage as well. But not liquid courage, aka vodka. Picks up the T7 that goes moving forwards. Western Point wants moving CST. Good work there by Sara Lynn. Constantly hitting Elpern's fuel economy there. Thumbs up to Sara Lynn. Gunny's moving forwards, and they're about to have their faces blown right off alongside, yeah, a good chunk of the building there as well. That's only going to hurt Sara Lynn. That's a full Grenadier squad wipe. No light machine gun drop to the east, I guess. Yep. That's at least a small mercy there for Sara Lynn. But still, good work there for Elpern. Thumbs up. Quite a painful blow there to the Germans, though they do have, in all respect, full Grenadier squad, so they still got plenty of infantry, and crucially more infantry than Elpern still. Second field gun for Elpern, and there we go. We do get the tier 4s expected here from Sara Lynn. Like, typically you don't go for 2 pack 40s like this, I feel, unless you're either like significantly behind, really worried about, you know, enemy like tanks, or, you know, going for tier 4. So there's obviously, you know, some reasons for that. But I feel like in some of the points didn't apply to Sara Lynn. I mean, they weren't exactly behind Elpern there, so... yeah. Anyways, tier 4 there, confirmed. Almost got the T7, a really close call here for Sara Lynn. Engineers almost right as well. The film of biting, almost clearing out both packs in return. Engineers being hammered here by the Max machine gun, forcing them back there. Good work by Elpern in the center of their contract busy here, but they're caught by the Grenadiers on the wrong side of the heavy cover. Less great there for Elpern. We got 400 limits to 434. And we got a flamethrower unit wiped here. Great kill there for Sara Lynn. And on top of that, not only did they wipe the Engineers, the flamethrower was dropped there, allowing Sara Lynn to seize it and turn against Elpern. That is quite the unfortunate development there for Elpern and the Red Army. So, Sara Lynn should be able to build the heavy panzer corps now. Of course, have to go for. That said, I would expect a Sturm Panzer 4 here so that the immediate units rush out. Quite good as the infantry, helpful as the field guns. So, I'd imagine that's what Sara Lynn's planning for. Though, of course, they could still go for like Festung Armour or strategic reserves here for a Panther 4 Model J. And there we go. Just as I say that, we do get Festung Armour with the Panther 4 Model J, Panzer Tactician, hold down the Pack 43 and Railway Artillery support. Got the western point there. Directed over the field gun on the 222. Second volley though doesn't really end up doing any harm to the German troops. The west side there, Punies pushing forwards and spotting mines as well there. Now of course here that Sara Lynn has 2 minesweepers because against the Soviets you should obviously also expect mines. Particularly against, you know, a smart and good player like Elpern. And you should always assume your opponent is smart and good like Elpern. Because again, that way you're less likely to get your men running into mines pointlessly. Pack 4 around to the T7 there, good. Double volley here, hammering through the T7 there, doing heavy damage to it. So we've got Gunners with the maximum here. 3 kills, eventually 2 there on it. Packs firing away, they're crumpling the cover of Elpern's conscripts. T7 on the flank here, nice over there. Rifle grenades being unleashed here against Elpern's position, but ultimately, without further, you know, support here, ends up doing nothing and even costs Sara Lynn here potentially their Grenadier squad. Heavy Panther go up there. No Sturm Panzer, could even go for the Panther here, or could go for the Panther 4 Model J, we'll have to see. Grenadier squad somehow survives that. That is some absurd luck there for Sara Lynn. That was absurdly lucky. And Sara Lynn, rather than going for like anything out of the heavy Panzer squad, goes for a 5th Grenadier squad. So they're clearly committed to the 5 infantry squad build, which is definitely something, you know, I can respect. As few players would actually be like, you know, focused on having like a 5 infantry squad build. 5 squads of infantry also, I'd say, is like, you know, the common maximum most players can, like, you know, potentially manage. Even for some it might just be 4, but like, you know, 5 is like, you know, the advisable maximum there. Can give you some very, I think, strong map control if you know what you're doing. Can have some really powerful pushes. It definitely requires a bit of understanding of good infantry tactics. So 5 Grenadier squads here, fairly consistently from Sara Lynn. Elpern, of course, continues to operate with only 3 conscript squads, and there go rifle grenades unleashed here. Conscript taking losses as Yevgeny and Konstantin find their faces completely removed. But yeah, Sara Lynn continuing to obfuscate their desires over the heavy Panzer corps. Again, we know they wanted it out fast, obviously, but there's still no real indicators of what Sara Lynn is planning here. Is it a Panther? Is it a Sturm Panzer? As for Elpern, we've yet to see the mechanized armor company. Could it be that Elpern wants to go for the KV-2 heavy tank? I mean, the plot thickens at this point. The plot thickens. Like a Sherlock Holmes movie starring Robert Downey Jr. Very violently, but the plot thickens. Well, so we got Gunners and Music quickly removing there Dimitri from the face of this pixelated earth. Packs bombarding the T7 here, pushing it back. Elpern, of course, responds swiftly. Worth noting, no artillery here seriously on the other side. And Sara Lynn with a heavy panzer corps rushed out for Decides to go for a Pack 43 first. That is a interesting choice there. Not entirely sure why they go for the Pack 43 here. I mean, it will certainly only encourages them to go for more artillery first, or her opponent, I guess. But also, it just seems like a bit odd for me to go for like the heavy Panzer Corps and then, like, you know, not get anything from it as the first thing out, and then going for the Pack 43. I'm definitely not sure as to why on that one. Well, so we've got gunners pushed back into the T-70. Mortar on the other for Sarah, bringing a bit of their own artillery again. Not the Panzerwerfer. Like most players, he would have gone for the Panzerwerfer. So Sarah Lynn, I think, continues, play a certainly refreshingly different Wehrmacht play here versus Elpern. It's actually doing fairly well, but I'm still very much unclear as to what Sarah Lynn is hoping to achieve with a Pack 43 here. I mean, obviously it can, like, you know, pretty quickly knock out some T-70 there thanks to its mighty 88mm gun. And I think, like, if an actual T-70 hit by a Pack 43 in the actual war, I'm fairly certain the T-70 would have just splintered under the sheer kinetic force of that armor-piercing round. Saying that was the case with early light tanks in the Spanish Civil War. When they got hit by a Flak 30 or the Flak 88, they just splintered, apparently, just fell apart. Field bombarded here, the mortar trying to silence here Sarah Lynn's artillery. Now the infantry push here. Obviously, the 5 Grenadier squads have been having the heavy Panzer squads to slightly reduce their reinforcement cost. Isn't necessarily a bad idea, though. Keep in mind, you still got to, like, reinforce a lot of Grenadiers to, like, really get the worth back on it. T-70 down, he underestimated Sarah Lynn's packed positions there, and the T-70 was violently shot to bits there. Elpern's got the mechanized armor company up there, and at this point it does, I think, look quite clearly here like a KV-2 heavy tank. The Clement with the issue of 2 heavy tank with a 152mm gun there mounted in its turret. Not a lot of them were made. It's actually a bit unclear as to how exactly they're utilised. It seems like they're just, you know, used in small numbers attached here and there. But there you go, KV-2 out there for Elpern. Gonna definitely give Sarah Lynn a bit of a harder time. Pack 43 remains in position. It's got no kills so far. It has done a fair amount of damage. I'm guessing that KV-2, though, will force Sarah Lynn's hand here on a Panther. Because I don't think Elpern is going to willingly drive his KV-2 into the effective range of the Pack 43 and then keep it there. I mean, he might accidentally get within range, but I don't think he's going to, like, stick around to find out if the Pack 43 is going to, like, you know, land every shot. Got armoured cars there falling back. Germans slowing towards us alongside the Soviets. So, in fact, at the start of the war, the KV-2 was a massive menace to the Germans, and would actually hit several times, like, hold up entire assault columns for, like, days, as they just couldn't deal with it. Or a day, I think. They'd actually have to bring in a Flak 88s and howitzers to try and knock them out, and even that they struggled a bit with. Of course, as the war went on, the KV-2 just dropped out, because in the end it wasn't that well armoured, only just at the start of the war, and they just didn't have a lot of them either. This was the Parnese here. Parnese, it could be in the Danish zone versus Elpern's KV-2. Now he set it up there to basically function as artillery, and there you go. Shot goes off. Doesn't hit any Germans, but it's only a matter of time before it actually starts hitting things, at which point Sarah Lynn's going to have a very bad time. Well, Sarah Lynn's infantry is going to have a very bad time. Maximum weather for Elpern, bringing more suppressive fire. There we go. Second shot. Not really landing any significant damage so far. The Magnum that's going to change in a moment. I'm surprised Sarah Lynn keeps the gunners around in front of the KV-2. That does feel like, you know, asking for a lot of trouble. There you go. Great shot there. Several gunners dead. And there you go. Murdered. Patton gained the KV-2, causing heavy damage, forcing Elpern to withdraw it from the front line for now. East side Parnese ground points in the west here. Pushed by the Parnese, but then stopped by the conscripts. And Sarah Lynn's west flank, their assault failed. Sarah Lynn's starting to bring in the Panther to match the KV-2. And the actual war, Panthers certainly would not have issues with the KV-2 at all. That's another story. Monganese there for Elpern. Obviously, at this point, Elpern could just consider like building repair stations, just to like do the repairs that way. Then he aggressively there with his KV2. Panther almost on there for Sara Lynn, consequently maximum up the eastern side. Panther almost on there for Sara Lynn. Mortar firing down in the conscripts, there you go. Panthers ready for Sara Lynn and the German army, adding the pin mounted MG42, Pack 43 there, the veterans who won. Note this is an early model Pack 43, initially they didn't have the right gun carriage ready, so they just used one for the LFH-18 howitzer there, but later on they actually made something similar to the Flak 88 with a crucible mount where they just swivel 360 degrees about. Then he's pushing forward to strength to the max though. Elpern puts up a pretty fierce defense, but there you go. Sara Lynn though, Scott Railroad to the sport, he to hammer the third positions into oblivion. At this point, Elpern's quick to disengage, but that still means Sara Lynn could basically just push through here now if the infantry wasn't heavily suppressed already still. Elpern there falling back, and so far the Railroad support is not doing any direct damage. KV2 then getting the Panther, great shot there. Maximum up the center against the gun to the east. He needs more support. Packs being hauled forward. Gun good flank around there. Panther fires away there. Field gun opening up the Panther. Armour on the move here. Panther takes a nasty hit there. We got a teleman there from Sara Lynn out in the middle of the map here. Reinforcing Heenan. We got 299 support 11. Gun is flanking around here. Elpern's north position. But got the KV2 ready. Panther there holding back. And there you go. KV2 engaging shot. Kind of ends up doing some work, but nothing too significant either to Sara Lynn there. Need to see that center there go. Pack forwards on the move. Panther need repairs. Forcing healing. Lost another gun to the escort. Back to just 4. Constantly towards the center here. Panther there waiting repairs. Mortar on the move as well. There you go. Pack there. Could have maybe gone for a target weak point there on the KV2. Instead takes a hell of a shot. There's on the Pack 40, but the KV2 there's not really much of a weak point to talk about. Pack White, excellent kill there for Elpern. Even if Sara Lynn can quickly recruit, the crucial part is the veterans who's lost, including the target weak point ability, meaning there's at least one less threat in that sense towards Elpern's KV2, since if he gets stunned with the target weak point that could quickly cost him the KV2. There's still another Pack 40 and Sara Lynn continues not to use target weak point, which is very fortunate here for Elpern. It's starting to look like Sara Lynn here is starting to, I think, over-focus on the centre, losing sight of the rest of the map here. This is great for Elpern. For Sara Lynn, he does first conceding too much ground to Elpern and making Elpern's economy a lot more secure, but also just allowing to focus like all of his guns on the centre, making it significant easier for him to defend if you don't have to like worry about attacking through like a very narrow set of terrain pieces there, rather than having to worry about say a deep flank through the west or the east. That could definitely give Elpern a lot more work on his hands.
The enemy is taking our territory.
So that is something worth considering there. Panther being repaired. T-34 from 6 there for Elpern. Guns moving back on the west here. There we go. K2 getting the gun is pushing back. There's 152mm gun. Center there, Maxim's pushing back. There's Sara Lynn's gun. He's got 292 to 401. Victory Ponds why Sara Lynn needs to gain control there. And continues to float like a fair amount of fuel and some manpower. So the question is, what is Sara Lynn planning next? Storm Panther? Panzerwerfer? There's certainly a few fair questions there for Sara Lynn, but certainly no way we can get a direct answer there. We just have to like watch and see what happens. Panther on the body, got 9 kills, half 8 veterans who won. There we go, T-34 ready for Elpern and the Red Army. Skirmishing there on the west side, here on his caught with the KV2, a massive fountain of dirt. and distracts and then pushes back the Grenadiers, so they avoid getting wiped. We've got Grenadiers with the advancing Grenadiers around the west side. Again, Lynn continues to focus most of their efforts here. Obviously, I think part of it is just the Pack 43, which to some degree forces Lynn to do that, and I think further makes the Pack 43 a bit of a questionable decision, as it ultimately just locks down Lynn from a lot of options tactically against Elpern. So it's either having it destroyed or been stolen by Elpern. Could be a big problem there for Lynn. Obviously, Elpern would be able to turn around there because they just, turn on the spot to engage Lynn's armor. We got a Panther briefly, but no. Lynn is actually committing to a second Panther, a second Panzerkampfwagen 5. A true believer in Krupp style there, it seems. Closing in mentioned one, and the Panther in the west here. Elpern making great progress now, going engaging Lynn's base there. Really just showing how brazen Elpern has gotten here versus Lynn. But also I think highlights that Lynn, I think, is losing control of the rest of the map here, both in terms of directly, but also indirectly just conceding the ground here in the west too easily. Bunker in the west are knocked out, meaning basically Elpern can now walk straight into Lynn's base here and just start hammering away there. Second Panther's almost done. Medic Bunker's in trouble here. Panther is doing nothing. I think guessing Lynn is trying to figure out a way here to maybe catch Elpern off guard, like maybe planning to swing around with the Panther for here. We can see the film being brought up. We got mines. We got the Kiwi-2. Elpern is exactly expecting this move now from Lynn here. Panther diving in, straight for the T-Fit. Unfortunately, we've got the field guns, we've got anti-tank grenades, mines, the Kiwi-2. Lynn there got outmaneuvered there by Elpern, and Elpern is now just viciously punishing Lynn for that. Lynn needs to counterattack hard. There we go. Does get the Panther still mines to worry about here. Panther going for deep flank here. Kiwi-2 taking hits here. Grenadiers, flamethrowers, machine guns there, tearing into Elpern's forces there. Panther keeps a deep dive going. Field gun there, firing away there. Panther is hold down. Wow, Panther flanking the Kiwi-2. The infantry moving forward. Artillery support called in. I don't know where. Oh, it's on the max in the field gun in the center here. Panther there, mostly dodging a shot there from the Kiwi-2 infantry, and support ones getting away here from the field. Oh, Rebel artillery barrage here. Panther in the south repairs here. This is some pretty wild maneuvering here by Lynn against Elpern. There we go, unit wipe, conscript squad there, forgot about the incoming artillery and got completely turned into mush. Was it engineers? Well, no, I think it was a conscript squad. They just can't quite tell from the dirt and the dust. There you go, Panther there keeps flanking the Kiwi-2. Gonna need to swing forwards. Field can definitely give me a problem here though for the Panther. Armour costing forwards more Grenadiers for Lynn. Continues to be a fervent and devout believer in 5 Grenadier builds here. But there you go, Panther down. The luck ran out for Lynn. They hit a mine and then became easy prey for the Kiwi-2 and the field gun. Elpern when they should have 5. Panther there being repaired. That was definitely a bit on the wild end there. Kiwi-2 they're being fixed up here for Elpern. Panther is good to go for Lynn. Half 8 of 82 on that one. But for the centre there, Lynn makes another push here. West side remains largely abandoned, though again, also gives Elpern plenty of time to sweep or lay down mines. Lynn's going to have to send some mines to clear that. And there you go, east side, also seeing pressure here from Elpern. Very good. Could even grab the Pack 40 and leave, I think, Lynn in a really bad position there. H5 ready. The center gun is being met here with a hailstorm alert here from Elpern's position to the maximum there with the 19 kills. It's proving itself to be a strong asset here for Elpern. Pack hit with a Molotov. The crew is roasted alive except for Helmut, who managed to get out of there. And quickly setting up destroying the Pack 43 here to deny it to Lynn. Overall nice work though by Elpern. Could have been tempted there to grab the Pack 43, wouldn't blame them, but I also don't just blame them for destroying it. As long as, Lynn doesn't get to use it again here versus Elpern, I think that's the best interest, not crewing it here. Okay, there we go, going for a very low health deployment there though. Panther slowly approaching that T2, Pack 40 repositioning. In the center there, Comps going for the Pack 40 there, Maxim joining in. Mortar could also be seized if Elpern. A lot of potential ways this could go very, very sideways for Lynn versus Elpern. A lot of ways. And here's how to work there. Mollis on the Pack 40 again. The crew once more is exterminated. KV2 driving forward, Spectre 2, 6 killed. There we go. Obliterates another Grenadier squad. Yep. So Lynn is definitely some pretty heavy infantry troops, and it's not like Elpern suffered none either. There we go. Panther flanking the KV2 there. Nice flank by Sara Lynn. Going in pretty deep, of course. Need to be careful about the field guns and other stuff supporting on that side. And we do lack support. There we go. Panther eventually 2 shots added. But still, field gun issued fire there makes that a very, very risky setup there. Gun is rushing away here. More troops arriving here. Panther disengaging, trying to take a safe path here, avoiding incoming fire from Elpern. But there you go, it's not working out. The Panther gets caught up in terrain. It's going to get knocked by the fire. There you go, huge blow to Sara Lynn. Elpern is now just wrecking Sara Lynn and the German army here. An absolute disaster there for Sara Lynn. Eventually 2 Panthers in the middle of that Pack 40 is about to get knocked out. There's no other armor left. Sara Lynn just down to 2 Pioneer squads and 4 Grenadier squads. I think at this stage Sara Lynn needs to basically pull off the tactical equivalent of a miracle here versus Elpern. It's really have a shot at this. Because I think in most ways right now Elpern just is holding all the cards. I mean, he doesn't have the infantry advantage. He's got Maxims, he's got field guns, he's got the KV2s, he's got the T-34-76 on the way. He's got the victory point lead, he's just got most of them out. I mean, Elpern, except on infantry, I think is pretty much holding all the cards here. So, Sara Lynn, I think, needs to, re-evaluate the current set of tactics and think drastically and aggressively come up with some new ones, because I think the current approach for Sara Lynn just isn't working out here versus Elpern. It's just again making out things too easy for Elpern to defend, which is not what you want to be doing. And it's also just giving, I think, Elpern too much time when he shouldn't be given time. There we go, T-34-76 at the Elpern and the Red Army. KV2 moving forwards. Half H-53 and there goes moving by here. Great shot there. Also there got simply utterly wrecked. And then we got another Pack 4 there for Sara Lynn. Close call there with the KV2 west side there. A bit of progress here, but it's already being snuffed out by Elpern. We got 149 versus 296. Elpern is continuing to build up here over Sara Lynn. More damage chance there for Elpern, very good. Gunners with the T-34-76. Panther fast with that damage inflicting the T-34 beforehand. That's going to be no whale. There we go. Second lot. Panther fast will do the trick. But I think at this point, Sara Lynn just lacks something to actually finish the T-34-76 off with, unless Elpern decides to just keep it moving ahead into Sara Lynn's packs. At which point he basically would be throwing away the tank. Halfway to the east level there on Elpern's KV2. You got 120 here versus 296. Odds are looking increasingly horrific here for Sara Lynn. We got another pro in the west with the Pioneers, but they're getting stopped here by Elpern. East side is basically where Sara Lynn continues to, I think, put so much effort and focus into it, despite at this point Elpern is very much ready for oh, they weren't paying attention to that demo charge. Holy shit. Ah, they almost had it, but yeah, Elpern spotted it in time and set it off. While you can try and disarm a demo charge with your points with the Pioneers, a lot of the time it's just smart to just shoot it from a safe distance and trigger it that way, rather than trying to get up close and disarm it that way. That is, I think, incredibly ambitious and definitely cost Sara Lynn and one of the remaining Pioneer squads. At this point, Elpern just keeps up the Stalin steamroller here against Sara Lynn. KV2 rolling forward, he's slaughtering Germans, wrecking their positions as he pushes ahead here for Leninist Marxist ideology. Utterly decimating Sara Lynn here. The units are being crushed by Elpern and his Stalinist steamroller. His communist crusher. At this point, I think it's GG. I think Sara Lynn has basically just popped out here, and at this point, we're just waiting for the game to register. There we go. GG, game over. A loss here for Sara Lynn, a victory for Elpern. A fierce back and forth fight here, but in the end, Sara Lynn strategically, I think, basically sabotaged themselves. And also tactically, I think, just, didn't play to the advantage of having a lot of infantry. They just attacked across narrow fronts rather than trying to attack across wider fronts, surprise Elpern. Yes, Basil. And that proved the critical mistake there. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, check, comment. Consider donating our pledge on Patreon. Of course, support the Propagandacast. Yes, I'm saying that, Basil. Yes. Support the Propagandacast by donating our pledge on Patreon. Support me and Basil the Kitty Cat. So cheers everyone, and see you all tomorrow for another episode. Bye.